In this video I'm using spectrum noir pencils to color the image. I always start with the face. With pencils you always start from light to dark. So I'm starting with the lightest skin color, and this is pencil number 5. Spectrum noirs doesn't have names on the pencils, they only have color numbers. And first I start doing all the skin. Next pencil is number 9, it's a bit darker, and I do all the shadows next. Try to find where the shadow should be and make that a bit darker and give the face a bit more color. Also shape the nose a bit by adding the shadows. There's the cat. I make one side of the face a bit darker because it will catch less light. It's a bit turned down, so that will be a bit darker as the other side of the face. Spectrum noirs are a bit hard to get color on the paper, you have to press a bit hard. Next is the blush. I use pencil number 37 for that. And you make the blush using the pencil in a circular motion. And don't press too hard. Then the lips, using the same pencil. The spot where the highlights are kept white. And next is the hair. First I use the yellow pencil, number 15, and I do all the hair yellow, and I don't care about the shades yet. I've got a bit skin there. Next I use the brown pencil number 89 to start putting in the shadows. Find the hairs that are a bit below other hairs and make them a bit darker. Find the spots where the hair goes beneath other hairs and make them darker too. Where the highlights should be, I will keep it yellow and don't add the brown. and just work through all of the hair the same way. Looking for the highlights and for the places that are in the shadow. The second color brown I use is 91. It's the middle brown, and I will go and do the same thing as with the other pencil. Find shadows, make them a bit darker, and try to shape the hair a bit. And it's a lot of hair, so it's a lot of work. And with these pencils you have to press a bit harder to get the color on the paper, so it is a bit of work to do hair with this. Still leaving the highlights yellow and making the rest darker. This is the darkest brown, that's number 95. And still adding more shades. And you can see it better now. You can see the difference better between the highlights and the shades, and you can see it's really shaping the hair. And you can see how hard I press on the pencil to get the color on. Spectrum noirs are not my favorite pencils. It's very hard to get a bit of color on the paper, and the colors, they're just not as bright as I like. And they work, but it just you need more time and more layers to get a better look. I just follow the lines where the hair is going and draw the hair a bit. Next I use blue for the hair ribbon. I start with the light blue again, that's number 67. I leave the spot where the highlight is white, and I add darker blue, number 73, for the shades. And it's a bit of a white, big white spot leaving there. But when I start blending, it will bring out a bit more blue to the white and the spot becomes smaller. The eyes I use green, number 47. And for the eyeshadow, dark blue, 73. Make it a bit darker blue around the eyes, and above the eyes a bit lighter. Also make a blue line underneath the eye. And I add a bit blue in the green of the eye. Then I start blending with the paper stamp. I use odorless white spirit, and you just dip the paper stamp in it and you can start blending the pencil. You start with the light color and then you go from light to dark again. When you change color, you have to clean it just by dipping it in the odorless white spirit and use a piece of paper to get the pigment out of it. You have to be careful not to mix the colors, because otherwise you get smudges. If you go over the hair or over the purple there, it will leave traces of that color on the skin. So you can take some of the color to the white spot and make it smaller and make it fade into the white. In the hair I start with the yellow, and be careful not to go over the brown, because if you go over the brown it will make the yellow a bit brownish, and you don't want that in the highlight spots. You can see the color become a bit brighter if you use the odorless white spirit. Next is the browns, trying to make one color go over smooth into the other color. Making the face a bit darker, because if you blend the color sometimes becomes a bit more pale, and again adding a bit of shade to the face and the nose. Making a bit of chin. drawing a bit of eyeliner around the eyes. Making the lips a bit darker. Next I take a black pencil to do the final shading. Really looking for the darkest spots and make them black. You need a sharp pencil for this, because you can work very detailed with a sharp point. Also using the black to create some shadow in the face underneath the hair. Using the yellow to make the highlights a bit more visible. With other pencils, normally I don't do this because the colors will stay brighter, but the Spectrum Noirs just don't have as bright color as the other pencils. Adding a bit of brown, because the color faded also. When I was done coloring the hair, my hand really hurt because I had to press on the pencils very hard.